Want to learn how to write killer drum parts? That's coming up next. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Behind the Beat. My name is Chris Langen, and today we're taking a look at some approaches on how to write drum parts. Okay, so let's say maybe you just joined a band. You know, you've got a guitar player, a bass player, and you guys are starting to write some music. You know, your guitar player and bass player have come up with some licks and some melodies, and they've presented them to you. Now it's your job to fill out the song with a drum beat, but maybe you're not quite sure what to play. So what we're going to do today is identify some of the things you want to listen and look out for, okay? Now, since I don't have a band here with me, all I'm going to do is play a random drumless jam track, okay? Something with some guitar and bass in it. Now, I haven't listened to the song prior and came up with a part. I'm going to do that all with you right now so that we can listen to it and decide on a part together. Okay, so let's talk about some of the things that you want to identify before you write your drum part. Okay, so what style is the song in? If it's a reggae song, you're gonna wanna play a certain style reggae beat, okay? Maybe something like this. Okay, what if the song is maybe a bluesy type song? Well, you're gonna wanna take that into consideration and maybe play like a blues shuffle, something like this. Maybe you're in a metal band and you guys play a lot of heavy double bass driven material. Well, you want to explore some different double bass style patterns. Maybe something like this. Okay, so as you can see, the list can go on and on and on. Maybe you're in a jazz band, maybe you're in a Latin band. You're gonna need to look at the genre and style of music you're playing and make yourself familiar with the beats that are played in those genres. Okay, now, some of the other things that we wanna look for when writing a drum part would be the tempo of the song. How fast is it? How slow is it? Am I going to need to play 16th notes? Am I going to need to play quarter notes? Okay. Next, you want to look for the time signature of the song. Is it in 4/4? Is it in 7/8? If it is in an odd time signature, you're going to want to get familiar with playing grooves in that time signature. Okay. Now, after you've identified all those things, now it's time to just listen. You're the drummer in the band. The bass player is the bass player. You guys together are the rhythm section. So it's important to listen to what the bass player does. I certainly do all the time. That's how I decide where I'm gonna place my kicks. So let's listen to this drumless jam track that I have here. We'll decide what kind of style it is, what the speed is, what the time signature is, what the bass player's playing. That way we can come up with a groove that's gonna suit the song. So let's take a listen. Okay, real quick. I've identified this. It's definitely not country. It's definitely not hip hop. Kind of funky. Maybe funk rock. Okay, so right then and there, I know that I've got to pull from my library of funk rock grooves. All right, let's take a listen and see what our tempo is. One, two, three, four. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Okay, you can count it in different subdivisions. See which one sounds good with it. Now, we don't have to go as far as checking the time signature. Obviously, by counting that out there, you can see that it's in 4/4. All right, so now let's listen to what the bass player is doing. That's how I'm going to decide what I'm going to do with my kick drum. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I want to accent those hits, those notes that he's playing on the bass there. And I think a backbeat of 2 and 4 would best suit this. So, now that I've got my bass drum pattern, I know what my snare pattern is going to be. All we got to do is figure out what we want to do with the hi-hat, our timekeeper. So we could play quarter notes, we could play eighth notes, we could play 16th notes. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put the track on. I'm just going to start playing along with it and see what sounds best. Here we go. Okay, so you saw what quarter notes sound like, what eighth notes sound like, and what 16th notes sound like. In my opinion, the quarter notes left the groove feeling very empty. Eighth notes sounded pretty good, 16th notes sounded pretty good. So it's pretty much up to you. Maybe get some opinions from the rest of the band. Hey guys, what do you think? Should I keep it eighth notes or should I go with 16th notes on this? Get some opinions, see what other band members think. Now, another thing that you want to consider is that there are probably multiple sections of the song. There's probably there's at least a verse and a chorus. You may have an intro, a bridge, an outro. Do you want to switch maybe to the ride for certain parts of the song to give it different colors? That's something you can do, okay? As far as fills go, you know, I think less is always more. You want to play for the song. A drummer that is constantly playing fills is a drummer that's not going to have a job very long. So keep your fills tasteful. You know, you want to put them in at the right times. You know, maybe to end a phrase or to go from section to section. Somebody that's putting a fill every 4 bars is a little bit too busy. Okay, that's just my opinion, but I think that keeping it to a minimum is a good thing, and it'll suit the song better. Okay, so now that you've got somewhat of a bass rhythm for your song, you can start experimenting with different colors and different, instruments on the kit. Maybe, you're just bored with playing straight eighth notes on the hi-hat. Maybe we want to play something a little more syncopated. So you can start doing that. Let's see what this would sound like if we broke up the pattern on the hi-hat a little bit. Okay, so as you can see, you don't always have to stick to straight eighth notes or straight sixteenths. Mix it up a little bit. Put some of the syncopated stuff that you've been working on your pad onto your hi-hat. But don't overcomplicate it. If it's getting in the way of keeping a nice clean backbeat on 2 and 4, or if it's messing with your bass drum foot, then don't overcomplicate it. Maybe it is better to play it safe and stay with straight eighth notes. But just an idea and something that you can try experimenting with. All right, guys, like I mentioned before, don't be afraid to ask your bandmates their opinions. If they thought something was too busy, then maybe try to pull back a little bit. It doesn't hurt to ask them, hey guys, what did you think about that? Instead of being someone who is completely stern and, that's what I'm playing and that's it, it's not going to get you very far. You want to keep a good, healthy, open relationship with your bandmates. All right, guys, well, I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, make sure you drop them in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. My website is chrislangendrummer.com. And until next time, see you guys at the next lesson.